Hey everybody, coming to you live here from Sedona with a little deep disclosure. We normally do this in a different format. We typically record a video, release it on other platforms, but today we're going to just do our show that we do like once a month, right here, right now. And this is my co-host, the Divine Miss M.
Hi, everybody.
And we like to share what's going on in our world. These updates, for those of you that don't know, are a mixture of the things that we're both involved in. My background being to do with finance. I'm an author. I've been on a spiritual path for, I've calculated it today, 39 years. And so we're going to be sharing some of the news. And of course, you can, if you want to find out more about Deep Disclosure, you can search on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of videos out there. And you can check out deepdisclosure.com. But we're going to do a live episode right now. And so
bear with me because I usually pre-record these things. So
live it is.
Do my best. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan Martinez, but I also go by the Divine Miss M, and I'm a fully conscious psychic medium. So I work alongside of the financial team, bringing through information that's mission critical, and I also get information that's geopolitical, about the weather, about the energies that are going on. And I work with clients on an individual basis as well, doing readings as a medium. I connect with crossed over loved ones and spirit guides and bring through information in that way. I also do sound healing. And now I'm doing even more work to help everybody going through the current energies that are going on right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Or right now.
Oh, you want me to talk about it now?
Well, I was going to chime in and talk about the Golden Gate, which is something that I talk about in my book. And you can see this poster behind me, which is basically pointing to the Golden Gate, which is this portal right up here. And what that's all about is there's an Egyptian calendar that has demarcations that highlight a couple locations. One of them is 522, the other being 1122. They're directly across from each other. And every November, the energy and synchronicity and the alignment to the central sun is increased, and the opportunity to accelerate your awakening is highlighted. And so there's a lot of people that are kind of talking about an event coming. I've seen some Palladian channels and different other groups mentioning that there's a window. Some are calling it out as 11/11. Of course, that would be 11 days to the 22nd, and so I've always seen that as a window of opportunity. What would you like to add to all this?
Well, it also happens to be my birthday, so we're going to be doing a little gathering here to do we do a monthly meditation on the 22nd of every month, where this portal is like opening up and it's strong. And so we have a lot of people that join us around the globe for this meditation, and occasionally we live stream it from our home. So we're going to be having our big Golden Gate birthday extravaganza this year at our house on Friday, November 22nd. And there are some tickets available if you'd like to attend in person, but it's going to be a very small, intimate group that we're inviting into our home to celebrate along with us and our friends here in Sedona. And we're going to be live streaming it as well. So very excited about this year's Golden Gate, and but because of all the extra energy that's going on right now, it really feels like we're going to get it going this year, get cross the threshold of the gate, if you will.
Well, that's an important thing to understand. My background, where I've had this time traveler come in and out of my life, talked to me about how optimizing this gate was something that was important to do, and that, you know, we've actually been through a few time loops, and that would be all the way back to ancient Egypt, and running these simulations for optimizing these gates and portals for awakening as many people as possible. And so it's interesting because the galactics that Megan channels also talk about optimizing this and having as many people awaken as possible. And so we're here to tell you about it and encourage others to bring awareness about this Golden Gate, November 22nd.
Yeah, so if I don't know who is tuned into this, but I have been talking for a long time about the energies, and they've given me indications of when they're going to be intensified throughout the year. And so what's happening now is we're in one of those periods. So they had promised a very intense October, and if anybody guys have been tuned in, there was a really intense energy that came in July as well, and that carried through almost most of August. And so we got a little bit of a break from it in September, but now it's back in full force. A solar storm came in last Friday, and it's been just blowing us like crazy here since then. The winds are so intense. Last night I was up at 3 a.m, and it was just coming through so quickly and so forcefully that there was like a high-pitched raining sound that came along with it. But more importantly, what I want to talk about around
Good
these
thing
energies,
I sleep like a baby.
I've been having trouble sleeping for the last week since the storm rolled in. I woke up as soon as it came in. I was feeling a little agitated and irritated a couple days before it because of the energy amping up, and then the Schumann resonance is also spiking along with it. So it really does increase the energy. But here's also what happens is that it amplifies whatever is inside of you. So if you're not in a good place, it's going to amplify that. And we've had people passing away in our community, either from suicide or heart attack or stroke, because of these higher energies, and also people just slipping into a depression and ready to throw in the towel on life because of it. So I've been warning about it for a long time. The Galactic said to me that those of us who started our emotional work a long time ago were lucky, and that those of us who didn't were going to get a real crash course in this energy field. So that has been happening. It started for me in the middle of June, where the energies kept just going up, and then in July, with the amplification of Cancer behind these high energies, it became this really emotional time. And so basically all these wounds, and this has been true for so many people that I've talked to, all these emotional wounds that I didn't realize were still there, were all being triggered and all coming up to the surface in order for it to clear. And then once I had gotten through the emotional stuff, and not completely through it, but just on the other side of that intensity, I started to have physical stuff. So everything that is happening in our emotional body is attached to something in our physical body. And it's also attached to our, possibly our past lives. It's stuff that's been in there for a while, and it's needing to be cleared out. For me, it expressed in my liver and gallbladder, because I haven't always been the best at expressing my anger, and I just kind of pushed it down thinking I wasn't angry, I wasn't having that reaction. And so what happens with that is it goes down into your solar plexus energetically, but also into the liver and gallbladder where resentment can live, and your nervous system. So I've been having issues with the gallbladder because that's where the emotional stuff that I dealt with in July was coming up in those organs, ready to be cleared out of that. So some people I've talked to have had also physical things going on with this. But now this is how I'm
clearing something too, so
yeah,
we're not alone.
It's all coming up, and so yeah, we're all in this together. And so if somebody reaches out to you and they're having a hard time, maybe listen this time, because it is just more amplified and it's more serious. But there are some things that you can do, and I want to make these tools available to everybody, because when they kept saying, we need to do our emotional work. Well, some of us are like, well, what does that look like? For me, it's always been, self-honesty and self-reflection, but it has to go deeper than that. Once the reflection is there and the honesty is there, we have to reprogram our minds, our subconscious programming, so that we can actually release ourselves from these quantum entanglements that keep us in the lower astral realms. So how do we do that? Well,
So you mean thinking about your emotions is not feeling your emotions?
Well, not quite. It is contributing, but it's not quite clearing it out. So the first step is identifying what it is. And then once you know what it is, then we need to start to do the reprogramming. And so I've been doing something called the Giving Game, and
I just started it today, so
yeah, it's been amazing. I can't tell you how quickly it has shifted me, but what it's doing is creating new neural pathways by just thinking and feeling about things a little bit differently. And it's a combination of all the wonderful thoughts create your reality, feelings create your reality tools out there that puts it together in a comprehensive 60-day program that offers you consistency to help you really shift out of these things, really get them to shift into a place of love instead of the punishment of the emotion that you're giving yourself in your physical body, and also not feeling great. So one of the 60-day program that I'm doing is called How to Feel Better When Things Get Worse. And so it's 60 days. It's absolutely free. If you go to givinggamefoundation.com, you can subscribe to that program, and it'll give you a daily lesson, a daily meditation, videos to watch to help you with it. And also now you can book sessions with me to help you go deeper and discuss things that are going on that you might need help clearing out. And I can walk you through the process and help you really succeed in this. And so really it's just a willingness to change combined with consistency that helps you do this. So I have found this to be an amazing tool for success for me, and it is really making me feel better. I feel better every single day.
Well, I'm witness to that. Since I just started it today, we'll have to report back in on how I do with it. But
yeah,
it's so great that we have tools available to us to make these shifts, especially now in these high energies.
Yeah, so let's do this all together. The other thing that I am doing right now is a prosperity program. So how many of us have an unhealthy relationship with money? I have had that throughout my life, because we don't realize, but by the time we're 6 years old or 7 years old, that program's already set in there about what our relationship with money is. And that relationship with money is what dictates our life path, how we interact with money for most of our lives. And so we get these little programs of things that we learn from our feelings when we're younger, whether it's listening to your parents argue about money, or, saying like those things like money doesn't grow on a tree, or my mom used to say a lot of funny ones. I'm not going to share them with you because I don't think we should swear on here.
No, we shouldn't.
And so there are these little things that influence our relationship with money. And so our success with money has nothing to do with how hard we work. It has everything to do with that relationship. And so what I'm doing right now is a 40-day prosperity program. And it again is also free, and it's on the same website, givinggamefoundation.com. And you just go in there and you get a list of these 10 powerful statements about money. And every day for 40 days, you pick one that resonates with you that day, and you write it down 4 times. And that's it. You stop thinking about money. You stop thinking about it in any way aside from this. And the concept is that no person, place, or thing is my supply. Nothing outside of myself is my supply. God is my supply, if you believe in God or prime creator or source. The universe is my supply, and all I have to do is surrender to that, to understand that, and be in the divine flow for it to come my way. So this prosperity program, I want to challenge everybody that's a part of our Deep Disclosure community to do this, especially if you're one of the people that has submitted a project, because in order for your project to be successful, you need to have a good relationship with money. And so these tools are coming forward to help us right now, because it's time. It's go time. This is it. And we want to really, really feel our best and be our best so that we can usher in this golden age of abundance for the rest of the planet. And so that we have tools to turn around and help other people who are maybe not as advanced on the path as we are of this awareness and this knowing, because they also need this help. So I'm just putting that out there. You can go to my website, divinemissm.com, and request an appointment with me once you've started the giving game if you need an extra sense or an extra push or an extra help working through things. Because I am a psychic and an emotional intuitive, I can help you get to the root of what's going on and what the core beliefs are that are creating your programming. So I'm really excited about this. It's been so helpful, and I just feel this weight lifted off of me every day I go a little farther down this path.
Fantastic. As I said, I'm starting that. I started it today, and I'll report on how I do with it. I mean, I'm been on a path a long time, as I indicated earlier, spiritually waking up and becoming more aware, and I've done many practices, and obviously there's a lot of manifestations that I can speak about that are very positive. We do also have programs that have been brought to us for funding projects and the like, so there's been a lot of wonderful things that are occurring right now in all the shifting and lifting that's going on. But I'm always the first to say, I'll try it. You know, anything to better myself so I can help more people, be in greater service, you know, attract more opportunity, I'm down for.
Yeah. These are, I consider these just the rules of engagement for the game that we're all playing. And once you know what the rules are, then it's so much easier to create what you actually want. And if you consider that the universe just says yes to everything, whatever it is that you're projecting out there is what it's saying yes to. So if you can reprogram and create neural pathways that are saying yes to good stuff, or asking the universe for good stuff, it's just going to be a lot more fun to play the game.
Indeed. So how well do you play your game? It also has to do with self-love. That's always been my thing, you know, is to, and all these things at work, they have these things in common, don't they? Whatever that tape was when you were a child, you know, I was adopted, so mine was, there's something wrong with me. You know, I'm not lovable. Why didn't my original parents want me? And so my whole life I had trigger opportunities show up for me to take a look at that and to identify that this hidden underlying tape exists, and to be like, no, that's not true. Just to bring it into the light. And so I'm looking forward to engaging this and see, you know, how much more free and self-love it generates.
Absolutely. I walk around all day just talking to myself, saying nice things. and it definitely changes the disposition, certainly. And everything is just okay. So once you really embrace that, the okay concept, that everything is okay, it just really helps you let go and not put energy into the lower base frequencies, and make you, you know, an observer instead of someone that's reacting to all this stuff. And it just helps you into this path of loving detachment. So it's really amazing, and I'm excited to be able to bring this information to you guys as well. So a lot of stuff that's going on around these solar energies, increased synchronicities. I'm seeing numbers all the time. The other day I had a dream, which I thought was real, that I blew out the light in my bathroom. Now I blow out lights all the time, and when the solar flares come in or the solar storms come in, it gets worse, and I'm blowing out stuff all the time. Matthew's probably sick of replacing all my light bulbs
that she can't reach.
Yeah. And so I had a dream and I thought it was real, that my bathroom light went out. And so I woke up and I went and I flipped it on. I was like, oh, it's still on. 2 days later, I walk in there and the thing blows right out as soon as I touch it. So it's crazy how, like, we're in this kind of such an intense time where we're in these timelines are so close together and kind of butting into each other, that we're really being able to utilize that, and so much more information is coming through. So be aware of higher electricity around you, especially if you're already accessing your psychic gifts and you're an empath or a psychic. You have a higher electromagnetic field around yourself than the average bear does. And so you might see yourself having some issues with electricity as well. So that's one of the things that's been coming through. Another thing that that was strange that came up in a few readings that I had was I had two readings with two women on the East Coast, one in Atlanta and one in Florida, and both of them were planning on making a move. The one from Atlanta to Florida, and then the other one in Florida, just moving to a different location. And I was being alerted to a hurricane or flooding, and what I believe was that our oppositional forces that like to keep things interesting for us were trying to weaponize a hurricane and send it at Florida to eliminate Florida or to put it underwater. And so I had been tuning into that. I had also been tuning into something going on in California, because I had a client that was in Oregon and was planning to move to Southern California, and the guides were warning against this move, at least for now, because they said something was going to happen that would damage the place that she moved to, and that it end up costing her a lot of money and leaving her in a bad situation. So to just kind of wait for a minute. Now, the Galactics came to me and said, if you know, a few weeks ago, a cold snap kind of moved in, and we were seeing snowstorms really early in the Midwest and some places on the East Coast, and even here in Flagstaff, we had it froze. And so our friends from upstairs helped us out. They sent in a cold snap to end hurricane season early, so that Florida could be spared from this plan. So when you're wondering if who's out there, who's helping us, they're out there, they have our backs, they're helping us with these little things. And what, right now we have some fires going on in California, and there were also reports of smoke coming from underground when they started doing these blackouts. So there's something going on in California underneath and on the surface. And so just, be mindful and keep your thoughts positive, and prayers to everybody that's around what's going on over there. Let's see. Okay, well, I think I'll think of more galactic updates.
So yeah, well, my side of the coin, I talk about the white hat intel, and there are things going on behind the scenes, positive things, whether it be galactic or people on the ground that, are aligned in this alliance for positive change. And there's a lot of things happening in the financial arena that I can't talk about because there are operations going on. They're super positive. We continue to see major progress that's unfolding. Again, I mentioned there are some programs that are already showing up as ready to go for funding projects. So this is exciting. I have notes here that I'm glancing at. So there's a whole bunch of people that are working on all these fronts to uplift our financial freedom. I'm involved in a couple new cryptocurrency companies that some of you may have seen me remarking on. There's a few gold-backed ones that I'm very excited about. So we're working on decentralizing, because the central bank is all about the central control. And so all these crypto things are actually really positive, whether or not, Bitcoin is the solution, which we believe is not. The advent of blockchain and cryptocurrency is very important for us to be able to conduct transactions in e-commerce without interference. And, there's continuously banks failing all the time. And so, we're seeing positive change in the financial arena. Many, many more people showing up with, that's the common thing that I'm getting with a lot of the people that we're working with, is they're literally saying, we're doing this to fund impact, social, relevant, green solution, anything to do with positive change. And so this conscious tsunami that's been sweeping the planet is growing, and so many more people are waking up, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. And so this network of positive change and agents of these positive changes are expanding tremendously. And so let's see, what else do I have? Well, we're also starting to plan our next event, which is going to be in May. This is called the Silvergate, and it'll be part of the 7th Seal Summit that we do on an annual basis. And there we'll be gathered with a variety of people, transformational thinking people, a cut across from finance to spirituality, and we definitely hope to see you there. What would you like to say about it?
Oh, well, I would just say that we have some exciting new faces joining the community this year. We're going to change things up a little bit because we want to create an even more comprehensive experience. And so this year, instead of a 3-day sit-down event, we're going to have a 1-day workshop or a 1-day sit-down, and then we're going to have a bunch of other smaller breakout events that you can choose to come. You can choose and get tickets to that are a little bit more intimate. Take people out on the land, let them experience the Sedona experience. What's it like to be here? What's it like to be a part of this community? Really, really getting immersed into the tribe and into the energy here. So we're really excited about expanding what it is that we're doing with this, and it is the time of action. It's time to become an actionist. It's time to do. So, and we just feel like enough of this sitting and talking about everything. Let's go out and do stuff. Let's participate. Let's all get into this together and see what kind of magic we can make.
Yeah, definitely. And so growing the community, that's what's happening. This was going to be a year from all the prophecy that we heard at the beginning of the year, a year of collaboration. And so there's been a lot more of that, people showing up to co-create. I'm very excited to see that happening more and more here. We have lots of plans for what we're going to be rolling out here. We want to do a storefront called the Activation Station, and one of the things that will be happening in there is the 7th seal and how that works and what that does for people. Very transformational. You can find out more about that under 7 seal. That's number 7 sealcodes.com. And let's see, what else would we like to cover?
Let's see. Oh, well, I have another new show because I'm always making new shows. This one's called Wisdom from Beyond, and it's going to be going up on the first episodes are going up on my YouTube later tonight. And this is a show that I'm doing with the creator of The Giving Game, Heather Noel. And I was very fortunate enough to meet her back at our 7 Seal Summit this year in July. She happened to wander in right before I went on stage and did my live reading for the audience. And her husband, who had passed away, was one of the first people to come through, and she ended up booking a private session with me after the show, and we started working on some projects together. And so we have our new show, Wisdom from Beyond, which is just stuff that I've learned from being a psychic medium about what it's like on the other side and what it is that we're doing here. And so it's just a mindful conversation about interesting topics. And that's going up later today. I also have a show with our friend Susie. I always mess up Susie's last name. Beeler?
Yeah.
Susie Beeler. And this is the Sacred Voices of Sedona, which you can find also on my YouTube or on her YouTube. The Divine Miss M is my YouTube. And this one is, again, just spiritual conversations, talking about thoughts and ideas that can improve your life or just are interesting. And then also I have my show with Joseph P. Anthony, Sedona Psychic Speak. And this one's more closer to what I'm doing with this, where it's just predictions. He's a psychic astrologer, and I'm a psychic medium, and we talk about the information that we're both getting and the crossover of it, and talk about what we can expect. And so later this month we'll be releasing our 2020 predictions video. So everything that we are bringing in about what's going to happen next year, and next year is a really big year. I won't get into it now. We're going to save all that stuff for that video. But it's pretty exciting what's going on in 2020. So what's going on here now? So one of the things that I had not channeled, actually, this came through in a reading with a Canadian client. And this was over a year ago, where I had channeled that there was going to be some sort of scandal with Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. And And I believed that would lead to his not being reelected. However, he was. Turns out everyone's okay with blackface, apparently. And so, but this led to something that came through from the Galactics. And they said that there may have been some election tampering. We've certainly experienced that here in the United States. And that also, that when it comes to our politics now, we're in charge of it. So we are, if we want to see a change, we have to get out there and make the change happen. So while they're able to help us a little bit more with the weather stuff and the energetic stuff, the political stuff is really falling on us now. So if there was election tampering in Canada, it was only made possible by the number of people that voted for him anyways. And so if we really want to see these changes, we really need to commit to making different choices. And that's kind of what our galactic friends have been saying about this. A lot of this stuff is really up to us. And so for those people that are really frustrated and wondering, when is this all going to happen? When are things going to get better? The answer is when you want them to. And the more of us that want to co-create a better reality for everybody and put our energy into that vortex, the sooner that we can make these things happen here.
Well, we're certainly witnessing that, again, with the tsunami of consciousness that's spreading across the planet, and people awakening to their highest purpose and their greatest passion and their skills. So it's really a beautiful thing to witness. And we've got another project that we're going to work on. We've got a team of IT people where we're going to create the ability to put our profile up, our skills, our interests, our what we're seeking, and be able to have our conscious tribe, our spiritual community database available so that we can co-create things much easier. If you think about it, LinkedIn, all these sorts of things, you can't just search for, hey, I want to know all the carpenters that are spiritual, or I want to know all the healers that have had 10 years experience that are in a range of whatever, an hourly rate range. So we're going to basically put these things together so that we're empowering the community, and then extending that with everything we're doing to the global presence. And so we've got lots of technology projects that we are cooking up behind the scenes to help, because it's really up to us. So this consciousness evolution is thanks to everybody like yourselves, all of us that are tuning in and recognizing that we can help. We have our special gift. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle, and we just need to be more organized.
And the more that we manifest our sovereign freedom, the more of these solutions show up. So, and a correction, it's Susie Byler. I knew that. I don't know, it's like a live video. I got nervous. I was going to butcher it, and I did.
Thanks for the correction there.
Yeah, thanks, Susie.
Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, so...
Well, I have a lot of people pronouncing my name strangely. My author's name, Mithewis Imhotep. I'm editing my third book right now, which is going to be coming out. That'll have a lot of really deep, profound sacred geometry, meta-numerology. I've been cracking the code on a master system. The English language has been encoded with many powerful light codes, and so all this stuff that I'm rolling out is going to be put together in more comprehensive ways. I'm working on another video. So stay tuned for those kinds of things from my corner of deep disclosure.
Did you just mention your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did just release the second expanded, updated, revised, because I wrote all these books 20 years ago. And so I'm giving them a facelift. I'm dropping breadcrumbs to the things that I've discovered over the last decade pertaining to these more advanced codes that are creation codes. And so all these people that are out there, from ancient civilizations on Gaia to the Robert Bauval, the Hancock, all these folks, we're all kind of tapping into that there's a greater picture, and the puzzle pieces are being arranged, and I feel like I have some, real complementary things, and that's what my next video is going to...
It's just reconnecting. So.
Oh, we had a little reconnection.
Yeah.
I was going to say Ancient Civilizations is in its second season, so I might watch some more of those shows and make some more dovetail, videos that accentuate the things that we're all discovering and tie it into the next level stuff that I have.
And I have to say, I have read all 3 of the published versions, and I've had a peek at the 4th and 5th books that are not available yet. But I read all 3 of the first published
Seventh Seal,
Hidden
Wisdom Unveiled.
Unveiled. And not only are the new ones just have a ton of beautiful artwork in them, but the books are just so activating. And even if you're new to sacred geometry or metanumerology and it doesn't quite make sense to you yet, when just being exposed to the material is very activating. Because when I read them actually 5 years ago, I was brand new to all this stuff. I didn't know anything about the topics that he was discussing, but I found it to be very activating just to read the material, and it all got in there.
Well, the common thing that most people say is that synchronicity in their life is accelerated. And so what happens when that occurs is that, we're clearing, awakening, all these things that are aligning so that we can go online with our highest oversoul. We all have layers of higher selves. And so when you go online with your highest aspect, you draw in your highest purpose.
And like I was saying earlier, all of those aspects of yourself are contributing to your game that you're playing right now. So the more you are able to integrate those aspects, the stronger player you become.
What was this? Can you see that?
I'm reading Graham Hancock's America Before right now.
Right on. Shout out to Paula.
Yeah. Hi, Paula. She's so cute.
Thanks for the comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're building the community, we're supporting the transformation, and encouraging everybody to come out and be who you are and share all that you have.
Absolutely. It's been, it's just a really exciting time to be alive and a really exciting time to be a human. And I know that sometimes we can forget that with all the nuttiness that's going on out there, but just enjoy the show. And if it's nutty, don't partake in it. Just enjoy it, and just enjoy your incarnation, because it's a gift to be here. And I'm enjoying that gift.
Well, that's so true. The more we learn to be the observer, and choose our actions wisely instead of reacting, right? The more we co-create the reality with those higher aspects of ourselves and the collective aligned community. And so belief system is everything. That's one thing that I think we're all learning.
Yeah, and you're all amazing and you're all loved, and we're so excited to just be able to do what we do, and it's been really a great journey for us. And so if you want to go a little deeper and you want to make a connection to the other side, or you want to expand your personal abilities, or you want assistance in your giving game, or your giving game programs, you can find me on divinemissm.com. That's divinemsm.com, and request a private session with me.
All right. And don't forget to check out deepdisclosure.com, where we have a lot of videos on deep subjects. So it's been good, as always. And we'll be doing more of this live type of reach out, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.